Something that's actually, this comparison just popped into my mind. Something that's actually so interesting to me with the way that these guys represent success is there are two ways to do, there are like two ways to kind of do sports movies, I think. And really, there's only one way. On one end, you've got, I don't watch many sports movies. I'm trying to think of something more recent than like Remember the Titan. You've got movies where, against all odds, some team of people or some athlete tries really hard and he manages to be successful. He gets the girl, he gets the job, he wins the affection of his family, his friends, the respect of his peers, blah, 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 right? This is like your standard sports movie formula. And then on the other hand, you've kind of got like a darker take on sports movies, where you've got like Whiplash and Black Swan. No, Dark Swan? Black Swan? Black Swan. And I think Black Swan and Whiplash are interesting takes on like sports movies because what they show is you can be the best and you can try, really, 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 really hard to be at the very top, but there's a whole bunch of sacrifice that is entailed by doing this, such that it almost removes you from the ordinary population of human beings. Yeah. And it's interesting because I feel like to some extent, I feel like success is somewhat like that, in that for people that are truly very successful, I'm not trying to jerk myself off, okay, but like a lot of my basically every single waking moment of my life more or less goes into my work. Yeah, basically, right? I'm doing emails and shit at the gym. I'm, doing meetings and stuff before and after stream. When I'm traveling, it's basically always like my work schedule and everything is like revolving around work. Now, for me, I like my work. I enjoy it, but it's a lot, and it bleeds over into literally every single facet of my life, such that if I get a divorce, everybody knows every single detail. There's drama between friends and coworkers and et cetera, right? Whereas some people might think that like, oh, well, if I want to be a celebrity or an influencer, blah, 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 like basically you show up for 2 hours, you do a little bit of work, and it's like super easy and awesome, and this is like the movie life. It's funny because when you look at how the red pillars represent success, they definitely lean into that fantasy image of not having to do any work and just kind of like having fun and goofing off all day. They sell you like that Disney Channel friendly sports success story, as opposed to showing any of the actual hard work. They talk about the hard work, but I don't think you actually see any of the hard work that they do. And they don't really talk about the hard work they do. They just do these weird platitudes where they're like, oh yeah, like you don't understand, like I don't even know actually what they say anymore about hard work. It feels like they just show up and stream and that's it, yeah.
They call me a peasant. Multi-millionaires looking at me, peasant. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I want to be rich like you. Tell me what to do. I'm switching my mindset and I'm starting to think like a millionaire. You're broke and I'm up. I'm working.
I'm also so curious about, now I'm leaving orbit, okay? We're getting into the super privileged, okay, diva world. I don't know if this would be diva or not, but I'm very curious when he talks about this obsession with money. And again, I'm hedging all of this very carefully because maybe people think about this differently. Maybe it's just my world. I'm not sure. I feel like that obsession with money, I feel like it must go away after you're making, I don't know what, anywhere from like 200 to 500K a year. I feel like once you're past that point, does more money really matter? I feel like at that point, what you're hungry for is success. Like when I'm orienting myself now, I'm typically thinking of like, what are the big podcasts I can be on? I want to go on Joe Rogan. I want to argue with like politicians. I want to argue with mainstream academics. Like these are the things I'm thinking of. I'm not generally prioritizing like, what makes me the most money? What can I charge the most amount of money for? When is my next merch drop? I got to do this and blah, 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 blah. It just seems, I wonder sometimes when people say this, is it because he's broke? That like the most he's earned is like 150K in a year and he's like really hungry for more? Or like what the obsession with money after a certain point, like after like 500K, after like $1 million in like gross, like that's your money after, or no, it'd be net, I'm sorry, after tax and everything. Like what are you actually doing with your money at that point? But then it also could depend on lifestyle and everything as well. I will say that too, lifestyle might matter because I don't buy clothes, I don't buy anything, I don't buy like a ton of cars, maybe. Because I find that like, for me personally, okay, again, I'm in very out of touch world, I understand this, okay? But I can blow through 100K in a year very easily. Anybody can blow through 100K in a year very easily. I think it's very easy, and it's very surprising how easy it is to drop $10,000 a month on random stupid shit. Very easy. $1 million in a year, in my opinion, is very hard to waste. Like you can throw 10 grand at something and not give a fuck and not even miss it and not think about it. I feel like $1 million in a year is significantly harder. Like, oh, I'm going to do like a $50,000, 2-week vacation. And I was like, okay. Yeah, I feel like and I don't even do vacation. That would be a really expensive vacation. Like you talk about like suites or nice hotel rooms, in New York City, might be like $1,000 or $1,500 a night or whatever. It's like, it's not as big a deal. I don't know, like past this amount of money, what do you need more money for? Are you like trying to buy a yacht? I'm just so curious, like, what is the obsession with money for? Like, what are we saving for, little bro? Retirement? Yeah, you think these guys are trying to pack their 401ks and IRAs? When these guys go to clubs, the minimum table spend is at least 10K. Sure, but like, how often are you going to clubs? And how many other rich friends are you bringing with you? I imagine you're bringing a few other friends with you who probably have money too, no? They just really like the game. Yeah, but then why not fixate on that? Like, I want to go on bigger podcasts. I want to get more views. I want to talk to more important people. Why is it like the fixation on the money thing?
Runs my Discord server, and I have one that wants to become my assistant, and I'm training her to run my...
Oh, and that too, what Malik just said, the entire point of all their spending is to flex how much money they have. That's another thing too. It's like the obsession with the validation, to where like the whole reason I'm making money is so that I can buy things to show other people how much money I'm making. And it's like, why the... But I guess backgrounds and everything probably play into that too, I guess, for why would you care? I don't know. That's probably something you learn really early in life. The money is a proxy for ego. These men are deeply insecure. Yeah, that's probably true. Actually, yeah. Actually, that is probably the answer to almost all of this. I wasn't thinking true. The audience likes to live vicariously through them and believe that one day they will achieve the same. But do you think, like, here's a good question. Also, sorry, I'm trying not to self-glaze too much. I feel like if you watch my streams, I feel like I can be a stand-in to some extent for the everyman, because I'm like a nerdy dude. I don't buy crazy clothes. I don't have a crazy car. Like, my apartment is nice, definitely. But for the most part, like, I'm still pretty, like, I'm on my computer every day doing shit. Do people, when they watch Sneako, do you feel like you live vicariously through Sneako? Because I feel like it'd be really hard to relate to, like, this guy that's in, like, Muay Thai gyms and Indonesia as he's on a yacht with 50 million OnlyFans models. Like, it feels like so disconnected from what any viewer would see. I don't know how much it's not about relating, it's about wanting to be him. Oh, sure, maybe, yeah. It's like women for Kim Kardashian and other celebrities. Sneako is like loser Kim Kardashian. Yeah, but I feel like when you watch Kim Kardashians, even for normies, I feel like you're watching because of how crazy it is and how much you can kind of laugh at it and how out of the norm it is. Not because you want to be like them, no? Maybe? No? Something I'm also really glad about is that all of my ascent has been, one, I'm glad I didn't get famous when I was super, super young. So I worked real jobs first, and then I grinded the fuck out of online stuff through a lot of hard work, and my growth has always been pretty steady. So I'm glad I didn't have the big blow up when I was super young, because I don't know how cemented my views would have been, because holy fuck. I can't imagine when I die, when I'm in my 80s, I will publish, okay, some of the diary that I'd written when I was like 16, 17. It is the most sociopathic, like Death Note tier shit you've ever seen in your life. I was so fucking full of myself as a high school. It's unbelievable. My God. And if I would have gotten famous at that age, I can't imagine how cringe I would be as a person. So I'm grateful for that. And then two, I'm also grateful that I didn't have any huge blow ups, because I can't imagine for Sneako, if you're grinding for like 8 years and then in 1 year you like 10x your fan base, I bet that fits with you a lot as well.
When you grow your personal brand, you yourself become an asset.
Because to me, that sounds like someone who's deeper in the matrix than anyone working a 9 to 5.
Like, that's the name of the game. That's why it never stops.
At least they know they're not free.
Also, true, I don't like, not to sound, I don't know how to say this, but like, and especially in America, there's this fetishization of being an entrepreneur and being self-employed. And if you've got the mind for it, meaning you like to choose your own work, you like to choose your own hours, you like to choose your own tasks, not like do you have the mind for it, like do you have the business brain versus like the plebeian retard brain, right? I think there are some people that are built really well mentally for getting their own work and going after their own work. They're not better or worse than other people. It's just like a different mode of procuring opportunity, I guess. And then other people are really well fit to perform a specialized task and earn of money for it because that particular task is super in demand in whatever economy you're in. The idea that working a 9 to 5 is for f***ing losers and being an entrepreneur is based as is like such an unbelievably stupid reductive take on different forms of employment. Like there are most entrepreneurs that grind and work hard end up with nothing and their businesses fail. The vast majority, probably 95%, 99% of entrepreneurs end up failing out and then end up transitioning to 9 to 5 work anyway. If you can make a lot of money doing 9 to 5 work, like you've got steady employment, you've got usually 401k, you've got usually like some form of like vacation time or benefits or health or whatever. You've got guaranteed work. There's not going to be slow months or fast months unless you're doing like some seasonal or contractor shit. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with 9 to 5 work. especially if you're making good money. That's like Kino shit right there, okay? You know, if you really wanted to be super radical, you know what's funny? What Sneako should do is he had his little flirtations with Christian shit. Then he hopped over to Islam, all right? Okay, the caliphites are all gone and dead. Okay, ISIS sucks. The Middle East is in shambles, reliant on support from either the West or the East to support their, you know, Iranian-Saudi confrontations. If they truly think that the people that run the world are the Jews, why don't they all convert to Judaism and then start espousing those values? Like, wouldn't that make the most sense? Like, wouldn't that truly be the most red-pilled thing of all? Like, if Jews run the world, let's all just become fucking Jews. Like, why not just do that? And then you could actually be in control of everything. And then we could start figuring out, like, what the they do. But the problem is, like, the Jewish way of doing everything is, like, the most boring, like, okay, we've broken in. Well, what do we do? Well, all of you need to go to really good schools, value education a ton, be kind to your family and your elders. No, like, okay, well, no, this sucks. I'm sorry. I'm leaving. No, not this way. There's got to be a better way that's more exciting than this.